Good morning, everyone. Over the last few hours, the First Lady and I have had the opportunity to walk through a special exhibit here at the Weitzman depicting what happened on October 7th at the Nova Music Festival. A festival that beautiful people from all different walks of life came together to experience, to dance, to smile, to enjoy one another's company. Narelle and Roya and Amit were there that day. Narelle and Roya were the daughters of our friend Sigal, who joins us here today from Israel. Narelle and Roya were also American citizens. They were there that day with Amit, who was about to become the son-in-law, or son as she refers to him, of Sigal. They went to dance and they went to enjoy one another. And on October 7th, Hamas terrorists killed them and killed 1,200 others, brutally sexually assaulted women, and took 250 Israeli citizens, Americans, and others hostage. About 100 still remain as hostages in Gaza. We all came together today to bear witness, to make sure that we would never forget. Lori and I invited a special group of leaders from across the country to join us here today. Several of my fellow governors were with us, together with our senior United States Senator Bob Casey and his wife Therese. We were joined by academic leaders, from the head of the Philadelphia School District to the leaders, the presidents of our local colleges and universities. We were joined by imams and pastors and priests and rabbis and other faith leaders from across our community who wanted to bear witness. We were joined by business leaders and labor leaders, civic leaders. We all came together today in common purpose to make sure that we would never, ever forget. Sigal's daughters had so much light that they were preparing to give to this world, so much love. There was darkness on October 7th, and we remember that darkness today. But it is also important to find light in the midst of darkness. One of the hostages who was killed recently at the hands of Hamas, a terrorist organization, was named Hirsch Goldberg Poland. His parents have spoken out quite a bit over the last year and continue to try and lift up other families who have faced unspeakable loss and whose loved ones continue to be held in captivity at the hands of Hamas. I was struck by something Hirsch's father said not too long ago. He reminded us that there is, quote, a surplus of agony on all sides of this tragic conflict in the Middle East. And in a competition of pain, there are no winners. We can mourn the loss of those who were killed on October 7th. We can pray for those who are held hostage to be brought home. and we can mourn the loss of life in Gaza, and we can all wish for an end to this war. We can hold all of those emotions together at the same time. And these leaders standing with me here today, they not only wanted to be here today to bear witness, to express our love to Sigal, but to also express that emotion that we feel across the board. Today is a day to honor those memories of the 1,200 who were killed. Today is also a day to try to find some light in the midst of this darkness. Sigal is a mother. Sigal is a patriot. And Sigal is someone who is helping us find some light in the midst of darkness. It is an honor for me to be with her today and to invite her to say a few words about what happened on October 7th, to invite her to share her personal experience with all of you. Sigal.
Thank you. Hello everyone. So I would like you to introduce Roya and Noel, my daughters. They were 25 and Roya was 22 when they were murdered. Amit was 25 as well. So I'm here today on behalf of my kids who were murdered by vicious terrorists, and behalf of the rest of beautiful people who were murdered on the day, to honor them and to speak for them. On October 7th, my girls, Noel and Roya, along with Amit, they attended the Nova Festival, and at 6:30 a.m., like many others in Israel, we woke up to the sound of war sirens, and we immediately called the girls to check the status of what's going on there. And they told us they are trying to get some protection at the festival site, covering their heads. And about 15 minutes later, they managed to get to the car, trying to escape and get home. They couldn't keep forward since the main road was blocked. They had to return, and they had to get inside the bomb shelter right next to Kibbutz Reim. And they got inside the Migunit, which is the bomb shelter, because they thought this is the right thing to do, since they were under a very massive missiles attack. They got inside the shelter along with other 37 people. The size of the Migunit is about 5 by 7, and there were about 40 kids there, all smushed and crushed. Around 7:50, the vicious attack started, and thousands of terrorists came towards this intersection. And inside that Migunit, they attacked them with they threw in about 7-8 grenades. They got inside with live shooting. They were under a massive shooting. Amit was the one who was murdered. They got him first. They tried to burn the Migunit from the inside to attempt of actually burn them, whomever stayed alive and injured. And it was about, the attack was about 3-4 hours. Around 11 a.m., Some of them were rescued. Out of 12 people out of 40 were rescued. And around noon we heard from my nephew Gal and my Noah's best friend Noah Benarti. They were rescued under fire. They've been taken to the hospital, and that was the first connection of what really happened on that morning. We didn't know what happened with the girls and Amit at that point. My husband went down south to look for them, went to each hospital in the south to look for them. He came back and then we realized that something really, really, really horrible happened. Of course, we didn't give up on hope. On the same night, we've been asked to give a DNA sample for all three of them. And since Noel and Roya were American citizens, we turned into the foreign media and to the American embassy, trying to get any kind of help. Unfortunately, we were informed of Amit's murder on Monday at noon. We had his funeral on Monday night at 8 p.m. That was the first time I was actually met with his family. 2 days after, we were informed of the murder of Roya. That was on Wednesday morning at 8:20 a.m. We decided to wait another day to hear more about Noel, my eldest daughter, who made me a mom back in 1998. And since we didn't hear about what happened with her, we decided to have the funeral on Thursday afternoon. The day after, while having a Zoom meeting with representatives from the FBI, with the American families, and with the participation of our President, Joe Biden. So while that Zoom meeting, they knocked on our door again at 7 p.m. on Friday night to inform us that Noel was murdered as well. That was the third time that we received the most horrible news that any mother can receive. We buried Noel on Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Both of my daughters are buried at the same grave. We decided to keep them together. They used to be an amazing, amazing sisters. An amazing sister to Shai, my son, which is 15 today. And I'm so fortunate for the girls choosing me as their mother, and so fortunate that my daughter chose Amit as her partner in life. I always used to tell her that she did good because she chose Amit. And we were simple, happy family who decided to move back to Israel in 2010. We had normal life, happy life. And on that day, on October 7th, our life turns upside down. And we used to sit around the table, 6 people, me, my husband Menashe, Noel, Roya, Shai, my son, and Amit, around the table for Shabbat dinner. And now it's only 3 of us, me, myself, my husband, and Shai. And we don't do Shabbat dinners anymore. But I made a decision of trying to keep their light alive, to keep their spirit alive, to continue their legacy of helping others in need, to keep their light in this world, to bring their light and to keep it here with us, to follow my heart, to be loyal to my heart, and just to bring light to this world. And I have just one simple request. It's simple, but maybe it's a lot. Just to be good people, to listen to your heart, and to make sure to remember that all those pictures that you will see forever, to whomever lost his life on this horrible, horrible October 7 massacre. It's not just a picture. There is a family behind this picture. There is a soul behind this picture. There is a name behind this picture. And just make sure you remember them, cherish them, and help to keep their light and their spirit alive with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to invite up our senior U.S. Senator, Bob Casey, to share a few thoughts and reflections on the day. Senator Casey.
Thank you very much, Governor. Thank you for gathering us here today. We're, of course, so grateful to the Weitzman for giving us the honor to be here on this day of remembrance, this day of reflection, and I would argue this day of recommitment. Recommitment to making sure that we're doing everything possible to confront evil in the world, whether it's the evil of terrorism or the evil that resides in the human heart, all of which, unfortunately, were on display in the most awful, horrific way on October the 7th, 2023. All those innocent Israelis and others murdered, more than 1,200 people who were residents of Israel, the Jewish people, but also others who were killed on that day, and then others killed in captivity as hostages. So we're reflecting and remembering today, but we have to recommit ourselves to confronting that kind of evil in the world, whether it's the evil of Hamas, the evil of other terrorist organizations in the Middle East or anywhere in the world, or the evil of the Iranian regime. We have to confront that evil and defeat it. But I'm especially touched today to have been part of a conversation that Sigal was kind enough to make us part of. And the governor gathered us, the governor and the First Lady gathered all of us. This is for us as Americans, I think, one of those e pluribus unum moments, one from many. We stand here today in common purpose, one people from different faiths, different backgrounds, different occupations, different stations in life. And we're coming together today to remember that awful day, to never forget it, and to mourn those who lost their lives on that day and on other days afterwards, but also to recommit ourselves to a different path for the world. I had the blessing of being handed a prayer that Roya had crafted when she was only 14 years old, years before she was killed. And I won't read all of it, but I recommend it to anyone. But what Roya told us in that prayer was something we should all make part of our lives. That we have to confront evil, for sure. But what she reminded us in this prayer is we also have to pursue the path of peace, the path of light that Sigal made reference to in her beautiful remarks here today. So I'm honored to be with you today on this day of reflection and remembrance, and this day that we recommit ourselves to confronting that evil. And I'm grateful that the governor gathered us, all of us, from across different parts of this community and different faiths and perspectives. So I want to invite up next the Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth, Austin Davis.
Well, first, thank you, Senator Casey. It's an honor to be here. First, I want to thank the Weitzman Museum for bringing this exhibit here to Philadelphia. I want to thank Governor Shapiro for all his hard work in coordinating this exhibit here. You know, it's an example that the victims of October 7th were real people. real people with bright futures ahead of them. They shouldn't be reduced to the final moments that ultimately took their lives. I want to thank Sigal and her entire family for being here today and for sharing what is a very powerful story. Anyone who is a parent, I can't imagine what you must be going through, but you've turned your pain into purpose, and you've ensured that your daughter's memories will live on. We all, I think, stand here recommitted to peace, recommitted to making sure that we create a society where every person has the right to live up to their God-given potential. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for sharing your stories, and it was an honor to take part in this solemn moment. Governor Shapiro.
The Senator and LG and I will be happy to take some questions. Sigal's not going to take any questions here, but as I close, I just want to thank, as the LG and the Senator did, I want to thank the Weitzman. This exhibit impacted me in a very deep and profound way. It was about a month ago that I had the opportunity to visit it in Los Angeles and to bear witness, to see what those beautiful concert goers went through. It's an unbelievably powerful exhibit, and as I was leaving, the individual who was responsible for assembling this, Scooter Braun, and I spoke, and I asked him if there was a way we could bring it to Philadelphia on October 7th and house it here at the Weitzman, even just for a few days. Scooter, together with his colleague Joe, who joins us here today, along with the generosity of this community, made this possible. And so I want to invite everyone over the next few days to sign up through the Weitzman's website to come and to visit. I want to invite all of you from the media, if you have a few moments, to take your time and walk through it as well. It is incredibly powerful, and it is always important in life to bear witness. And so we thank the Weitzman, we thank Scooter and Joe for their work, and we thank all of the volunteers for making this possible. And with that, we'd be happy to take just a few questions on topic.
Governor? Yes. Do you think that the United States is doing everything that they can, or would you like to see more support from the United States for Israel?
I think we're going to limit our comments here today to memories of October 7th. And certainly, I want to see the Biden administration continue to do everything they are to try and get these hostages home, to end the war, and to bring about peace in the Middle East. Senator, I don't know if there's anything else you want to add on that.
You said it. That's good.
What can you say about Pennsylvania? Because I think over the past year I've covered so many events, a display that was here of every hostage's portrait that was hand painted. There's so many things that have happened here in this state to show support. What's your take on how people here have personally been affected by October 7th?
I'm mindful that as I do this work as your governor every day, that I inherited something that William Penn started a long time ago, where he built a commonwealth that was designed to be warm and welcoming to all people. Now, when he built it and referenced all people, he may not have imagined you or I being part of all people, but wanted to set up an environment where all would feel welcome. What I have experienced about Pennsylvanians in my time as governor and my time in public service is that that spirit of warmth and welcoming is something that has endured for centuries. It's a spirit that's present here in Philadelphia and all across our Commonwealth. As you'll see from the people who are behind us, and this represents just a small fraction of who walked through this exhibit with us, the pain of October 7th is felt by so many people from so many different walks of life. People coming together to mourn, people coming together to learn from Sigal, and people coming together to try and find some light in our society. It's a spirit that has endured here in Pennsylvania, and God willing will continue to endure. That people are willing to put their feet in someone else's shoes and try and understand their pain and turn that pain into some purpose. It's what we've been doing as Pennsylvanians for generations, and God willing will continue to do.
Governor, you kind of spoke to this. It was important for you to bring this exhibit here. And Sigal, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing your story with us. What is your hope that those that would come here? What is your hope for a takeaway for those that would come and experience this exhibit?
I hope that people learn about the beautiful folks who just wanted to go to a concert and share love with one another and return to their families. I hope that they realize, as the LG said, that these are real people. These aren't just statistics that we read about in a newspaper or see on television. I also hope, and this is incredibly important to the First Lady, it's something she's been working on every day, I hope people leave here with knowledge and an understanding of what really happened. Because I think that in some segments of our society, we don't have that knowledge. So I hope there's knowledge, I hope there's a deep appreciation for the innocent lives that were lost, and I hope that people come out of this a bit more tolerant, a bit more understanding, and more committed to finding peace in our society and peace across the globe.
When you were first able to take in the exhibition, what's one moment or what's one part of it that really kind of gave you pause? And during that pause, what emotions did it evoke from you?
I'm going to invite the Senator and LG to share their reflections as well. But as you go into the exhibit, there's a video of beautiful people from so many different walks of life, from so many different generations, who were simply there to experience love and friendship with one another. I don't want us to lose sight of that. And then you walk through the exhibit and you see the horrors of people who were just clamoring to try and save their lives from these terrorists who came to kill them simply because they were in Israel. People, 4, 5, 6 of them went into a porta potty to try and save their lives and hide from the terrorists who were there with machine guns ready to kill them. The bullet-riddled fronts of those porta potties where people were trying to take shelter and save their lives and get home to their families, that's going to live with me. The tents that people set up and were hiding in, the bushes that they were hiding in to try and just save their lives and get home to their families just because they were at a concert. I think we can't lose sight of the humanity here. We can't lose sight of the fact that innocent people were gunned down simply because they were at a concert in Israel. We can't lose sight of the fact that there are still people who were taken hostage. About 100 who are still in captivity. Americans who were there as well. We can't lose sight of the humanity here. And it's critically important, as the First Lady talks about all the time, that we learn from this, that we get knowledge from this, and that we have some empowerment. And that we continue, at least I'll continue to pray for families like Sigal's, that they can have some peace in their lives.
Probably time for one more question here.
That exhibit's on the 5th floor, Governor?
I'm sure the Weitzman can arrange for any members of the media to walk through. I want to thank you all for being here on a solemn and important, impactful day. And most importantly, I want to thank you for hearing Sigal and giving her an opportunity to talk about her loved ones in the brave manner that she did. So thank you all for being with us today. Thank you.